Welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, powered and driven here by Go Chevrolet. Good Wednesday morning to you. Powered and driven, as always, by our friends down at Go. Live in Laplace, Louisiana for new cars, or if you're looking for a used car lot over at Go Express Auto Sales on Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. We got Jamil here, we got Noah here, we got Lloyd here. The carpool queen will be in here at some point after she drops the kids off at school this morning. We are jam-packed here on this Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll talk to Ross Dellenger, who Delly has become the authority very quickly with the NIL stuff circling around college athletics. He's got a lot of write-ups over at SI.com. His latest is a NCAA approval of NIL guidelines threatens booster collectives. We will talk to him about that coming up at 8 a.m. this morning. If you got a question for Delly, jump inside of our chat app and get it asked, hashtag AskDelly, and we'll ask Ross Dellenger coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning about some of the changes coming to intercollegiate athletics. Greg Sankey was speaking yesterday. He's comfortable with the college playoff, the college football playoff, and the way that it is constructed right now with the 4-team playoff, obviously, with Texas and Oklahoma coming in to the conference within the next 2 years. The SEC will have a firm grip on the power of college football. So a lot of people listening, every time Greg Sankey is speaking, will react to some of what Sankey was talking about coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show before we get out of here at 9 a.m. Please hit that like button, that share button, that comment button. Interact with us here as we are closing in on 10,000 subscribers over on YouTube. If you can't, if you don't mind, help us get there. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure and hit the subscription button. If you know a friend or two that needs a subscription, share it with them and make sure that they are subscribed today so we can get to 10,000. We appreciate all the interaction for you being here every day, starting your day with us. As we said, we'll talk to Ross Dellenger. We also have our mailbag segment coming up before we get out of here at 9 o'clock this morning. So if you have any questions that have not already been asked and you're curious, jump inside of the chat, hashtag mailbag. You can hit us on social media. You can email into the show, direct messages, all of those open to get your mailbag questions in on this Wednesday. As we said, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, True Blue Water, TRU, bluewater.com if you want to hop on the delivery route. Our phone line with Ross Dellenger coming up at 8 o'clock this morning, brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Get in touch with Charlie Harvey, Jason Ramazan, the entire crew over there. Some big news yesterday for a former standout and Tiger. How about Kramer Robertson getting the call as the St. Louis Cardinals tweeted out yesterday afternoon that they had selected the contractor of infielder Kramer Robertson from AAA Memphis. They were sending down Paul DeJong to the as he had been optioned down to AAA. Robertson last night made his debut versus the Baltimore Orioles. Ben McDonald was on the call.
I thought that was pretty cool as well.
In Camden, that was cool, man, as he was able to be there on opening night, or at least Kramer Robertson's opening night, and then you saw Kim Mulkey and Paul Maneri made the flight in as well, as they were able to take part in last night's game for St. Louis and the debut for Kramer Robertson in the bigs. Didn't play, got in the ninth inning as a pinch runner. No at-bats, didn't play in the field, but did get a chance to get on the base path last night. The Orioles ended up winning the game 5-3, but a big night for a former Tiger and Kramer Robertson, and it was good to see all the social media love that Robertson was receiving last night. And obviously, with Coach Mulkey being there and Coach Maneri being out there, a lot of people were going to be paying attention to that. But look, this is a lot of hard work for Kramer. I think that we've had Coach Mulkey on a lot here on the Jordy Culotta Show, and outside of talking about her team, she really, you can tell, feels very comfortable talking about Kramer's journey from LSU to minor league baseball and to his struggle of knocking right here on the doorstep of being in the bigs and awaiting that call. And finally that happened yesterday. So a really cool moment for everybody involved watching and being alongside Kramer as he got that call from St. Louis last night for the former LSU standout. 2017, he was drafted in the 4th round by St. Louis, and here he is making his debut in 2022. I know he was on the traveling playoff roster last season, but it feels like last night was kind of the first real piece
Absolutely.
of him making his big league debut.
Is there any better sports like call up than the one to get to the bigs? Because everything else is a little bit different. Like getting drafted, draft night has to be awesome for NFL, NBA, but Major League Baseball draft night, you're excited to get drafted, but you're like, I got 3, 4, hell, it could be 5 years ahead of me before I get to where I think I just got drafted. So the second call, whenever, Skip calls you in and it's like, you're going to the show, has to be one of the better feelings in sports.
It has to be. You're right, man, especially for
the grinder.
Yeah, the journey of a baseball player, right? I think that, all athletes are grinders. All athletes have their own story of how they make it to the elite level. But, a baseball player it feels like it's a very hard road to get down and to navigate. But, once you kind of break through that big league barrier, it feels like you can
stick.
You can stick. And Kramer has been trying to break through the barrier. And speak of the devil, here's Coach Mulkey texting in his last night. I'm going to text you this picture that she just sent over and from last night, but said she got to give him a hug after the game on the field, and it was a cool moment. Let me see if we can call her real quick.
Yeah,
we can just throw on we can just plug her into the
dongle.
Yeah, to the phone call here. I'm sorry, this might get a little messy here for the next couple of minutes. Stand by with me. Take a quick break, Lloyd, if you don't mind. Sorry about that. Give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can set Coach Mulkey up real quick. We'll be right back about Kramer's debut last night. Southern Eye Centers, where their passion is caring for eyes. It's what they do. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been offering the Capital Region a friendly, helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. Stop in and see their brand new office on Jefferson Highway today, where you can find them at 6859 Jefferson Highway. They also are the daily poll sponsor on the Culotta Show. And remember, if you go into Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you will receive 25% off of their fantastic sunglasses selection over at Southern Eye Center. Check out Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center, the daily poll sponsor of the Jordy Culotta Show.
Hey, y'all, it's Mikey from Mic'd Up. Catch us live every Monday and Wednesday, 11 to 1. Talk gambling, talk sports, have a ton of guests in here, get a little perspective from the athlete side of it. We got Lloyd in the house. Jay Mitch is in here a lot of the time. It's a fun show, great show. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you don't like it, it's fine. Make fun of us. It's okay. Just get us out there. Share us out there. We're having fun. We want to share our fun with you. Like I said, Mic'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Every Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 1. Catch us live on YouTube, baby. See y'all.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check them out online at redsticksports.biz. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, powered and driven by Ghost Chevrolet. As we started the show telling you about the exciting moment last night for Kramer Robertson as he got the call from AAA Memphis, a call that he has been waiting on and has been deserved for it feels like a while now. A 2017 fourth-round pick out of LSU. He was the captain and All-American on a team that went to the national championship in Omaha, and now last night up in St. Louis. It was great to see his mom, Coach Mulkey, there. Coach Paul Maneri was there. I think that there was a crew of them that got on a plane yesterday morning. And from St. Louis, Coach Kim Mulkey checks in with us here as a very proud mom this morning. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Y'all hang in there. My voice is gone, but not from hollering and cheering. I have something respiratory going on, but proud mom, you got it. I'm happy for LSU, and Certainly happy for Kramer. He got in to pinch run in the ninth inning, and so he is officially in the box score. And no matter what happens, the little old boy can say he made it.
You're right. And, Coach, as we were talking a little bit about before we had you on, even when we would talk to you about your team and when we bring you on about what was going on in your life, we would always kind of get to Kramer and about his grind and just what he was going through. Can you take our listeners just to this journey and finally getting the call yesterday to getting him to the big park and getting him into the bigs?
I can, Jordy. Someone here asked me in an interview yesterday about, your son making it. And I think people forget these pro athletes and the grind that they do go through. I don't care how good you are. It's a commitment like none other. And every day, it's just a grind. Certainly we know he's blessed, and all pro athletes are blessed with talent. But you just don't walk out on the field or go out there to play without understanding what goes on behind the scenes. It's hours and hours of commitment, missed celebrations from birthdays to Christmases to Thanksgivings. You just have to have an unbelievable love for what you do, and he does.
No, if you can recall, when Coach Mulkey was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, Kramer had to get a special kind of exemption from St. Louis to be at that event that night, then hop on a plane and get right back into Memphis's organization, where he ended up getting a game-winning hit the night that he got back. How was he yesterday as a mom looking at your son fulfilling a dream? How was that from looking at your boy?
Well, he called me, and I was driving back from Waco, spending time with my grandchildren, and he FaceTimed me. And he's got a sense of humor like I do, very quick-witted, and you never know when he's setting you up to cut up with you. And he said, "Hey, you got time to go to St. Louis tomorrow?" And I had a few choice words. I won't tell you exactly what I said to him. That'll stay in house.
Shut the bleep up.
So I didn't believe him because he's always cracking jokes. I said, "What do you need? What's going on?" And he kept saying it. And then I realized this little sucker may be telling the truth and cutting up with me in a truthful way. So I asked a few more questions, and then I realized he's not cutting up. So when I got back to Baton Rouge, needless to say, quick turnaround, I had to try to find a charter flight that would be available for me to get to St. Louis. And so 10 of us got on the plane and really enjoyed it. He got in the ninth inning, and you would have thought we won a national championship, and he hit the game-winning walk-off home run. We were so excited.
That is so cool. There's a great picture of you and Coach Maneri standing down on the field pregame as the Cardinals are kind of taking the field and they're going through BP. What was that moment like for you and Coach Maneri? I'd imagine that was a pretty cool moment, just kind of reminiscing on where you've come from to where you are last night being in St. Louis for that game.
Jordy, it wasn't just pregame. It was batting practice, and Kramer had to leave us on a list to get in there. I, as a coach and a mother, love that more than the game, even if he would have started and played every inning last night. Mm-hmm. BP is where you really get to be close to the athletes. You get to watch. And the photograph you're talking about, I saw it. Paul and I are talking about things, X's and O's wise, on watching them take infield. And that's my cup of tea. I love that. Could sit there for hours watching that and talking the sport. And certainly it allowed me to hug the necks of his teammates who have come up through the minor leagues with him, because there's a certain camaraderie there, particularly the ones that have just moved up recently, just pulling for each other. And you don't see that much in pro sports because of the selfishness and all that and the pressures of getting good contracts. But wow, for about 2 hours right there, from 4 o'clock yesterday until we left the BP, I can't tell you, that made my whole trip.
I can imagine. I can imagine you're still probably walking on clouds. Coach, excuse my ignorance, but how does it work now after somebody gets called up? Do they sign a certain day contract, or they sign through the rest of the season? How does this work for a big leaguer who gets called up at this point of the year?
Well, I can't give you all the details because I ask questions, but I know he signs a contract. His salary goes up exponentially.
Sure.
I told him he owes me for the batting cage I built for him when he was little. He owes me for a couple of cars. He owes me for fall. He laughed.
Right.
I said, I remember those days, Mom. I'm going to pay you back someday when I make it to the big leagues. Well, big boy, you got some money you need to be giving me. No, in all seriousness, he signs a contract. His salary goes up. And you all know how hard it is to stay on the big stage. So if he goes back and forth to the minor leagues and back and all that, his salary still stays what he signed for, maybe a little bit less, but nonetheless, it was more than it was. And it's just a proud moment. And we all went out with him after the game and ate some, couldn't find a place that was open, but we finally did. And we all ate a little bit and just reminisced and just talked about a lot of things. His high school childhood friends flew in. Wow. Certainly people from Baton Rouge were with us, and more are coming today. There'll be more come Thursday because they have to work in and out, but it makes you proud.
Kramer have to pick up his first check last night?
Well, it doesn't matter. When I get him by myself, I'm going to have my hand out and say, remember those days? Mama, I want, would you give me? So now it's going to be reversed and say, Kramer, I need this. Kramer, would you pay for this?
You buy the Range Rover this time. You buy me the Jordans this time. What
Here's
a cool
my
moment.
Christmas list.
That's right. Coach, thank you for sharing this. I know that this is a great moment for you, your family, everyone. I'd imagine you're in St. Louis for the next couple of days, huh?
Actually, it fell at a good time. I had to cancel some things this week on speaking engagements and appearances, but I do plan to be here through Monday, and hopefully he stays right where he is. And I think they're even on Sunday Night Baseball, so you guys, if you don't get the channel to watch him every day this week, Sunday Night Baseball is what I was told, against the Giants.
How many times does ESPN find Coach Kim Mulkey in the crowd like the SEC Network did?
Yes.
I mean, she's going to be the most popular. Coach, go ahead.
Let's don't start that here, all right? Let's enjoy the moment. Let's be incognito. And I did my share of interviews at batting practice to promote Kramer, to promote the Cardinals, to promote LSU, and that was fun.
You've always been the proudest of moms, and it's always been cool to watch. I know that last night was a moment that you and your family will remember forever. Thank you for a couple of minutes this morning sharing this. On the way out, just one, Angel Reese, what an incredible signing.
Well, it was an incredible sign, as all of them were. You go back to our freshman class, what an incredible first group to bring to LSU. And then as this thing unfolds, you have to help freshmen. You cannot just throw freshmen on the court and them keep their confidence. They have to build that confidence in practice every day against the older players. And we realized we needed the portal to help those freshmen, not to take away their minutes, but to keep them confident, to make them better. And I think we've put together a pretty darn good group, along with the returning players that have come in, and those returning players and those incoming kids out of the portal, the older players, they're so excited about being at LSU and building something special there. Let me also say, this game is crazy, guys. And when I say this game, I'm going back to baseball. Who was the first player Paul Maneri and I, or former player Paul Maneri and I run into?
Ben McDonald.
Ben McDonald. Yeah. And he was waiting there with the biggest smile on his face for Kramer, and he visited with Kramer and us down there at BP. So it was a beautiful night. It was a great LSU connection, and just making memories. That's all we have in life.
They seemed like beautiful ones last night. Continue to make more over the next couple of days. Thank you as always, for finding time to join us, and tell Kramer congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Yes, ma'am. There she is, Coach Kim Mulkey, checking in here on a quick turnaround interview. Thank you for her for stopping in here. That conversation brought to you by our friends over at RMB R&B Contractors. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew over there can help you with a custom design home, anything that you may need around the office or house that may need some refurbishment, or you need some things that are just need a little fixing up. Get in touch with R&B Builders, rmb-builders.com. Great website where they've got a portfolio of some of the work that they've already had a chance to make and to put through. And look, I tell you, we've dealt with R&B, and Katie's actually got some work going on in her house right now that she's dealing with Rhett and the crew. And ever since we found R&B, it's really kind of been our only contractor, just because in the sense of, like Katie has said about her experience, and like Kelly and I have had the experience of Rhett being over at our place, man, is just the communication, just the honesty, being able to kind of lay out what's coming up today, the people that are expected in the house, the projects and things that are going to be done. And I don't think that that's an experience that many get from their contractors, and Rhett really provides that to all of his customers. Find out for yourself today. RMB Builders is online at rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com is where you find them on the internet. So Kramer Robertson makes it to the show last night. Good celebration for a former Tiger. It looks like he's got a lot of love, a lot of former friends and family and coaches around him, including his mom, who is a Hall of Famer in Kim Mulkey, and you can hear just how proud of a mom she is in that moment last night. LSU baseball beat up on Southeastern last night, 17-3, as the Tigers now 33-15 overall. Last night, Sammy Dutton earned the win as he tossed 3 innings, allowed only 1 run, 3 hits, no walks, did strike out 2 last night. So LSU will turn their attention to hosting Ole Miss coming up on this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the 3-game set. Remember, Mikey Matuk coming up with Mic'd Up today at 11 o'clock. Really good baseball conversation with Mikey. They are doing a tremendous job on Mic'd Up of really kind of finding their lane. And that interview with Jay Johnson on Mondays that has happened the last 3 weeks is really kind of cool, man. I mean, it is it's just heavy baseball. It's really kind of in-depth look at the team. It's not hard-hitting question, but it's just it's good baseball chatter, man. I mean, it's good if you want to learn about the LSU baseball team. Go back and check out Jay Johnson and Mikey from earlier this week, and tune into Mic'd Up coming up today at 11 o'clock, as Mikey will have the latest on last night's win and then start to preview, obviously, LSU and Ole Miss.
And we have Bianco in today, coming in, obviously going in against the series against his dad, so he'll be in 11:15. And also Langston Galloway coming in at 12. Nice. Yeah, so a couple of good guests coming in on Mic'd Up, 11-1.
Big Lang. Where did Lang finish up this year?
He was...
I know he was with Phoenix last year.
Looking it up. He was with Phoenix, and then he was with...
Detroit?
No, that's where he got...
He went from Detroit to Phoenix.
From Phoenix, and now I think he is... And then he went to Brooklyn, and now he's with somewhere else, but in the G League.
Okay.
But all of teams that have had playoff experience this year. So he's going to have a great insight into the NBA playoffs and kind of his journey and his career and what's going on and what he'll be doing next.
As a young coach, AAU coach, I coached Langston Galloway and coached against Langston Galloway. Heartbroken many a times by Langston Galloway.
I was going to say, I'd imagine you'd rather have him on your team than not on your 100%. Team.
One of the great basketball players to come through our city in the last 20 years. I mean, as far as a youth player, and then went on to be he started varsity at Christian Life as a 7th grader.
Jeez.
And was a starting point guard. And by the time he had gotten to his senior season, they won the state championship. He was the MVP of the tournament. And for whatever reason, Trent Johnson just would not recruit Langston Galloway. I mean, it was mind-boggling. Langston Galloway was a guy that grew up in Baton Rouge with this expectation that he was always going to LSU. Like, I mean, as a youngster, watching those Glenn Davis, Tyrus Thomas, Daryl Mitchell teams make the runs, I can remember a young Langston Galloway being around. I coached the 8th grade team at U High that year, and we were really good. Blake Hollingsworth, who now runs Hollingsworth Ford, was my starting forward. Jamar Thomas was a kid who went on to play Tulane football, play football at Tulane. That was really good. Orrin Fontenot was a big guy that was, I mean, he was nearly 6'2" in 8th grade. I mean, we were loaded, and the only team that could really mess with us was Langston and Christian Life, because they would put him on the team when they would have big games. Right?
They'd make the phone call, put the bat signal up for Langston.
Put the true 8th grader on the floor.
Yeah.
But that whole crew was tight. that whole kind of group of athletes was tight. And I would take my team on Saturday mornings to watch LSU practice. Coach Brady would allow me to bring them in there, and in the preseason, they would kind of sit in the stands and watch them scrimmage. They would scrimmage every Saturday morning, like before football games. And we would take them in there, and we would bring Langston a lot of the time. And, like, the coaches then, Butch Pierre, John Treelord, John Brady, all knew who Langston was. Like, they all knew, like, be on the lookout. We will be recruiting you in a couple of years, and you're coming to LSU. And then they had the coaching change, and Trent Johnson was at LSU. And for whatever reason, I mean, his dad, Larry Galloway, is a great guy, was tight with the program. And, I mean, he was really trying to recruit him. He ended up going to St. Joe's and playing for Phil Martelli, who is now the top assistant with Jawan Howard in Michigan. But Martelli was at St. Joe's. He had, like, Jameer Nelson. Who was the guy that's a crackhead now and got caught running around with
Delonte
LeBron's
West?
mom? Delonte West.
Yeah.
He coached Delonte West and Jameer Nelson at St. Joe's.
That's for the Wikipedia byline for Delonte.
It's a sad story.
It is.
And I didn't mean to.
No.
And I think he's trying to make a comeback.
He's trying out for the G League.
Yeah.
Or no, the Big Three. The
That's
Big
good.
Three
I
League.
think
Yeah.
Mark Cuban
Saved him.
took
Saved
him
him.
under his wing and took care of him.
But, I mean, in college, him and Jameer Nelson
Oh, yeah.
could
That sounds like a problem.
go. I
Yeah.
mean, they could roll. I want to say they made the Elite Eight. Like, I mean, I believe that St. Joe's with Phil Martelli and Jameer Nelson and Delonte West made the Elite Eight, but that's where Langston ended up going. And if you remember, LSU played St. Joe's in a preseason tournament a couple of years after. I think Langston was a junior, and he lit LSU's ass up, just like he should have.
I'm sure he had that one circled even in the
Absolutely.
preseason.
Absolutely.
How do you get to start as a 7th grader and still be eligible for high school? How does that work?
Well, a school like Christian Life, which is now closed, but, you know, Parkview, U High, schools that have like kindergarten through 12th grade. You know, like Nick Brissett was a starting tailback at U High as an 8th grader.
Right.
I think if you're on the campus, you're eligible to play
Okay.
up.
So you don't have just like
So
4
you know,
years
like, I
of
don't
high
think you
school
can go grab.
eligibility?
I don't think you can go grab like a central junior high kid.
No.
Or, you know, central middle kid and bring him up to play in high school. But if Central went K through 12
Right.
and they were all on the same campus and all under the same roof, then you could bring him up.
Possible.
Some schools put middle school and high school together.
Yeah, right.
Well, how come I can't play like 13th grade or 14th grade? How come I can't hang out and, you know, get better?
I think once you receive your diploma, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get one.
Yeah, I mean, once it's done, it's done, bro.
I'm just
Give it
wondering what
up.
the rules are. I didn't know if you had 4 to play 4 or apparently have 6 to play 6.
So, good stuff from Kramer Robertson. Good stuff from LSU baseball last night as LSU and Ole Miss will meet up. The Carpool Queen, quick run this morning. Come on in.
Yeah, she is.
But yeah, that St. Joe's team made it to the Elite Eight.
Really?
Yep.
What year was that?
0304.
0304. That's a fun team to watch.
Oh, they had
man.
3 pros on it. Delonte, Jameer, and Langston.
No. Langston wasn't on that team.
Oh, okay.
No. But that's where I knew about St. Joe's. Langston was.
He's
He's
30.
old. Yeah, he's
So Langston's on the Skyhawks, the Hawks G League team with Skylar Mays.
okay.
They play together.
Is Sky playing in the G League?
He plays both.
He's playing up and down.
Oh,
He was
two-way?
on the roster, like on the bench during the playoffs, but he played the G League during the regular season.
Good morning, Carpool Queen. How we feeling?
Good.
How's the traffic out there?
Easy.
Yeah,
It's easy to
very
come
easy.
this way and drop off out
7:30.
of school.
Thought you said you had your carpool.
I did. SJA is literally up the street. I'm usually across town.
Did you see this?
David went out of town early, so I had to figure out everybody. so
You
it
got to
was-
move in early
I had
this
to get
morning.
other rides going. And
You still have to
stuff
wake
like
them
that.
up?
Yeah. Who? Wait.
The
David or
kids?
The kids. Yeah.
Hey, wake up, David. Do you?
No, I mean, I get up early, so he just wakes up because he
Rolls
has no
around.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll set an alarm?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always wake up before it.
Yeah.
I just set it just in case, and then I panic before it goes off, like an hour before it goes off.
I always wake up like probably 2 minutes before my alarm goes off.
Yeah.
Like
Isn't
my
that
brain
weird?
knows. Yeah.
You're programmed like
yeah.
that.
I'm a
If you go to
computer.
sleep worried
Y'all
about
bang on me for not
missing
setting
it.
an alarm. You don't wake up before
No,
y'all.
we
well,
don't.
because
It's
there's
just
been
that I have
times
a
that it's
backup.
woken me up. You know,
Yeah,
I do need
like-
it.
What if you woke up really early and then you fell back asleep?
That is my biggest fear. That's why
Yeah.
I can't get good sleep.
But when you have that fear in
why I
your
can't get
brain,
good
your
sleep.
internal alarm, I think, just goes off.
See, what he'll do is he'll wake up early knowing that he doesn't have an alarm set. And he probably has like 2 more hours he could sleep,
Right.
but he's so concerned about it, he just wakes up.
So if you set an alarm, do you think you would get a better night's sleep?
I don't know. I think it would annoy me the way that I woke up, so I would not. Like,
That is true.
That was the part that I got out of the alarms for. Was just that it would put me in a bad mood
I know.
waking up.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
does do that.
But maybe it would ease your mind,
Yeah.
and then you would just kind of wake up on your own a little bit early, and then
It's
you
a
could
good
turn
theory.
it off.
But the alarm doesn't make me mad anymore because I'm not mad to go to work. It's when you have a job you don't like
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're like, oh, fuck, the day
Yeah, no
started.
doubt,
I got to
no
go
doubt.
do this.
Yes, something
It's
you
kind of
don't
about
like.
more about your personal space than it is anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
He's not all that.
All right, so we mentioned that Greg Sankey was speaking yesterday, and Sankey was speaking. We're going to talk to Ross Dellenger coming up here in a couple of minutes. He'll be here at 8 o'clock this morning for what do you need?
That dongle.
But we're going to do a video call.
Yeah.
Look, it's on the footrest.
Okay, perfect.
So we'll talk to Dellenger coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning about the future of NIL. And Dellenger has become quickly, I don't know if he set out to do this. I don't know if he meant
I
to
don't
do
think
this.
anyone meant to.
But he has kind of become the authority on, throw me that, buddy, on NIL. And just kind of not the authority, but at least the messenger on NIL. You're reading a lot of his stuff to figure out what the latest on NIL is, right? I mean, the last 2 articles or the last 4 articles 5 articles, 6 articles that Ross Dellenger has published are all
You sound like the
concerning
count.
NIL.
6.
Yeah, I mean, NCAA approval of NIL guidelines threaten booster collectives is the last. His story before that was college leaders urging NCAA to enforce new NIL guidelines or else. The one before that,
Or else.
SEC, Pac-12 to pitch Senate on Hail Mary for NIL legislation. Before that, it was task force to big money boosters. NIL sanctions could be coming. Before that, it was NIL booster banks and recruiting wars. For some, it doesn't add up. So, I mean, you get the idea, right? I mean, Dellenger is
think
covering
he's-
this story inside and out. Yes.
Do you think he's writing all of these knowing that this might be a lot of work for really nothing that's going to come to fruition? Like, we were kind of banging on the NCAA saying, what's going to come of all this? And Dellenger's putting out thousands of words and probably like chasing down people to interview, putting these articles out on a deadline.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be like, I don't know how I wrote about all that. They're not going to do anything.
I think about that a lot, too.
It's like
It'll
writing
be something
a paper
that we
you don't like. Oh, they didn't grade that.
Right.
It's
Right.
like,
They,
It is like
I mean,
that.
they're banging you to turn in on time, and then like you go back 3 days later, and it's sitting in the same place that you put it. You dropped it off.
It's still in the ungraded tray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like, what's
Yeah.
the deal here? I mean, I plagiarized this whole thing to get it in on time. If I'd have known that you didn't grade it in 3 days, I'd have wrote my own stuff. Written, sorry. But so we'll talk to Dellenger kind of about the future of NIL. Whoa. And what his thoughts are on the possible playoff expansion and what it looks like following the 2025 season. As Greg Sankey pointed out yesterday, and this is kind of crazy in a business as big as college football. After the 2025 season, and right now the college football playoff contract runs through the 2025 season, where if you remember a couple of months ago, there was discussion on expansion, and it looked like that discussion was kind of starting to gain steam, and it looked like that overwhelmingly this thing was going to be voted on and moved in like to a 12-game or a 12-team playoff format. Like that kind of seemed like it was.
I feel like we were sure of it.
Oh, well, I mean, like.
Everything
Not only us, like people that were on the board
Yeah.
were like talking about how it was going to happen.
And they were going to move it up to link it up with the SEC
Yes.
expansion. Everything was going to come together at the right time, and they actually seemed organized and on the ball for what
I
college
know.
football is going to look like. And now,
And then in
Seems
true like college football board fashion, it all just kind of fell apart,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, like everybody just kind of dispersed, went their own way, and nothing's come of it. And now, like, as we are talking right now, there is nothing in place following the 2025 season. There is no contract. There's been no discussion. And that is just wild to say out loud in a business with as much money on the line that college football provides that there is nobody in any room sitting down and trying to figure out what's the future of our sport going to look like. I mean, how are you going to function? Now, obviously, Sankey is swinging the biggest stick in the room.
I think he's tired of everybody's bullshit.
I think he is,
How many
too.
times did he say we're staying at 4 in that article?
Well, I mean, he said that they're staying in 4, but I think he was reiterating when he said at the college football playoff when he was saying, look, I've said this. None of y'all have been listening, but we're fine staying at 4, speaking from the SEC's point of view.
Yeah.
Because, as he says, he's looked up, and Georgia and Alabama are playing in the national championship game, and the last 3 national champs have been Georgia, Bama, and LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And every college football playoff has had an SEC team in it. Like, we're good over here. Y'all can figure out whatever. You add 12 teams, we'll probably put 6 more in.
Yeah.
12, speaking of 12 of the last 16 champions have been from the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
crazy.
He's about to add Texas and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, I mean, he is sitting in a very powerful place.
Yeah, he is. He's
And
like,
we
I
will
don't
ask,
think you heard me.
Right. He's got his
well,
feet
now
kicked
everybody's
up.
listening.
Yeah.
Because they have to, right? I mean, that's where the money is. That's where the television is. That's where people want to be, is around his product. So,
do you think that there's any? I don't think this will happen, but with the XFL starting in 2023, I believe, and then the college football maybe not having their act together, and we don't know what the NCAA is there an avenue where you start seeing high school athletes and prospects go just straight to the XFL and they use it as a developmental league?
I mean, it's the G League theory.
Right.
You know, I mean, I was asking some people around Julian Phillips, the power forward that was committed to LSU for a lot of his
Those fun times.
recruiting time. And right now there is a push from Auburn. There's a push from Tennessee. There's a push from Southern Cal. But there's also a push from the G League. And I was talking to somebody close to around his recruitment that's saying, like, really, I mean, it kind of makes a lot of sense for him to go to the G League. You know what I mean? People are kind of giving the pros and cons of it. And, you know, outside of missing the tournament as a college basketball player, which, you know, a lot of them, Tracy McGrady, LeBron, Kobe, always kind of looked back and said they'd have loved to play in the tournament. Kevin Garnett. But outside of that, it wasn't something that, you know, I mean, they felt like they really lost out on the college experience. So I think that's what the G League is kind of selling to a guy like Julian Phillips is, hey, man, start your clock, start earning some money, you know, start taking those beatings and bruisings by getting paid. And, you know, I mean, yeah, you don't have the NCAA tournament, but they might call you up next year, and you've started to live your NBA dream. So, I mean, the rule as it is written right now, you have to be 1 year removed from your high school graduating class, and you can enter through the G League. And, you know, for people in a seat like Julian Phillips, that makes sense. There's got to be football prospects out there that has the same type of feeling.
It has to be.
Right?
Well,
I mean, I can remember we were giving the example about Stingley when he was coming out of Dunham, because the XFL was still open and operating during that time where, you know, I mean, look, he was always going to LSU. He was never not going to enter the college experience. He was going to play in the SEC. So it was really kind of an inconsequential debate. I mean, it wasn't, you already knew the outcome. It wasn't going to change anything.
But it's just a prospect that looks like that.
But a Stingley type prospect that, you know, I mean, doesn't come around your program every year. He's a once in a decade type physical player. Leonard Fournette. You know, I mean, you probably won't see a guy like Fournette around LSU, or at least recruitable to a school like LSU for another decade. Or if you do, it'll probably be only one player. There'll probably be only one player like Stingley over the next 10 years that you just, hey, man, this guy can change the game. He could step in on day one. He can play on a national championship contending team, and he might be the best defensive player you got. I mean, when somebody is presented with that pitch inside their living room from a team that can cut you a check, and you've got no loyalty or love to a university like Stingley had for LSU, why not?
Yeah. Why
Well,
not?
this is when you see the NIL conversation pop back up, because if they're going to be able to roll this thing back, or if that's their grand plan is to be able to stop kind of with some of these payments, and it has to be name, image, and likeness the original way it was intended, then high school kids will be interested in looking other places.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say the New Orleans Breakers?
They're on fire.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But in a situation like this doesn't go to somebody like Arch Manning and say, hey, Arch, we'll throw the entire budget at you. Name it. We'll get a sponsor to put how much money do you want? And you don't think that people would go buy tickets to watch Arch Manning play semi-pro football? Right? And I mean, like, you just go sell tickets and ride the wave of Arch Manning until he gets 3 years removed from his high school graduating class and becomes NFL eligible, and he still potentially could be the first pick in the draft.
That would be weird.
It would be weird. He would be that would be a test case if it was him.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest.
Think about if Adrian
recruit.
Peterson, coming out of Palestine, Texas, went to the Houston XFL franchise, and they just said, hey, Adrian, hey, man, we'll throw everything we got at you in your first contract. And we feel like we'll be able to make that up on ticket sales, jersey sales, and just interest and intrigue in our product, right? I mean, like, let's take a risk. Let's take a gamble. Throw everything we got at this kid, make him the centerpiece of our marketing plan, and see if the locals don't come out just like they did in high school. I mean, Arch is going to play in front of 10,000 people this year in high school games. Mm-hmm. I mean, he'll play, if he plays games in the Superdome, he'll probably put 20,000 people in there.
Yeah,
that just want to go watch him play.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's playing for the New Orleans Breakers for the next 3 years, I guarantee you we're making the trip once.
That's the kicker, is that it would be entertaining for a year maybe, and then it's like, oh, he doesn't have anybody around him. It's hard to gauge how good he actually is. You see him in college, and it's like, oh, I get to play in front of 100,000 people every week. Mm-hmm. You know, I have 4 and 5 stars all around me. It's an easier way to kind of judge a judge of talent. But it would be, if he can only do it for a season, and that made him draft eligible, I think that would probably be a more plausible scenario.
But what's enticing him? Money?
That's what we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Georgia is what's enticing him, and if he likes,
smart man.
Yes,
smart man.
Clean
I don't know if I'm not sure that money is going to be the overriding factor to Arch. To a player like him. But I mean, there are players of his caliber that money means a ton to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I mean, for somebody like Arch who's going to Newman, who's grown up, I mean, look, but I mean, he's a silver spoon kid, right? Like, I mean, like, he hasn't had to want or need for a lot in his life, I'd imagine. But I mean, I don't know Arch, and I don't know if that's his personality, but the financial background of his family.
Right.
I mean, the school that he goes to alone probably costs what, $25,000 a year?
Yeah, I'm sure.
To go to. So I mean, it's money's probably not, like, going to woo him. You know, I mean, it's probably not going to be something that is going to make him make a decision. So, from a test case standpoint, he's probably not the guy to look at. But there are players of that caliber in this class that are in the markets of XFL and semi-league, semi-pro football that definitely would move the meter.
Yeah.
And, in a NIL world where you've got one school coming in and, potentially saying, hey, if you come to our school, we can offer you this. Who's to say the XFL doesn't swoop in and say, cool, we can offer you that.
Come hang out with The Rock and we'll double it.
Right, and you don't have to go to class.
Yeah, I don't think you have to do that anyway.
Well,
do they? I don't think so. I don't think they're doing a whole lot of schoolwork. But, I mean, Arch has been, for as famous as he is and for as high profile as he's been able to live under the radar in a way that I've never seen before with like a high profile recruit like this, where people keep trying to talk about you and keep bringing you up, and you don't hear anything from him. Like, we don't know a thing about Arch Manning.
Oh, well, this is very calculated.
Right.
Right? I mean, this is very calculated from the Mannings.
Well, yeah, look where he comes from. They know what they're doing.
They are absolutely protecting, kill his mics. They are protecting, their brand just like they always have. I mean, they are looking at a brand that has already been established at this young age, and now they've got the experience of Eli Peyton going through this entire career and having them really kind of be the consultant on how to navigate it. So,
what
I mean,
crazy family.
I mean, like Shay said yesterday, he's not even going to the Elite 11.
That's what made me think of it, because that's unheard of for you to probably be the most heralded quarterback in the class. Like, and those guys like to go out there to go show off and be like, look, I am the best. I have to prove, want to prove it to everybody. Like, oh, Arch is here. Like, I'm going to be the number one, whatever, win all of the Elite 11 awards. Like, they want that competitiveness. And Arch is like, I don't even have to go. Like, I'm good. So that's what does he do? What does he do on the weekend?
But I don't get that. Like, I understand being an exclusive recruit and kind of picking your spots where you show up, where you perform, where you camp, where you work out, all that stuff. But if you're not going to play against the best, if you're not driven and motivated to be at what is somebody tell me, I have the perception that Elite 11 is kind of the peak of the mountaintop as far as off-season camps, exposure goes for that position.
Especially for quarterbacks.
Like, I mean, think about the names that we've seen go through there. You know what I mean? Walker was the best player at that camp last season, and that's really when his star started to just, it jolted to the top of recruiting boards and to the top of what people were talking about. Maybe Arch doesn't see that as a benefit and doesn't need that, and I understand that part, but the competition part, like the competitive part, you don't want to go around the 10 best quarterbacks in the country and you be the 11th and go mix it up with those cats for 4 days and get coaching and get the – and I don't know the story behind it. Maybe there's a conflict. Maybe there's something that's limiting him from being able to take part in that. So
I don't know now.
I'm not raining, but
He's an
that was
enigma.
very surprising
Yes.
for Shea yesterday to say that he's not taking part in the Elite 11 stuff. I would just think because that's football. You know what I mean? Like
And
that's
it's
not
fun at
that's
the end
not
of the day,
recruiting.
too.
That's not talking to the media. That's not social media stuff. That's not all of what it seems like he's trying to prevent, right? I mean, that's just playing football, cuz. And if you are a football player, specifically an elite quarterback, well, you need to be at this camp. Like,
Yeah, what kind of conflict would he have?
I said, I don't know if he does.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
It's
he's just
strange,
saying
though.
we don't need to take part in it.
Yeah, but what could I gain from it? Like, my name is already I'm so heralded and so wanted already. I could only hurt myself by going to this if I don't participate or if I don't throw well when I go. But they do have like a YouTube channel at Elite 11. It was on ESPN2 for a while, so they probably have like a social presence. And if that's what they're trying to hide him from,
I mean,
you
they're
can't
running a business.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
that's what
I
I'm
mean-
saying. No, even the Mannings are running a business,
Yeah.
and they're in social media. They have their own Omaha Productions. Like, they could have done this with Arch and made it very cool. Like, have like Behind the Life, whatever, because you can't hide this forever.
Right.
When he gets to college and when he's a sophomore, like, he's going to have to do interviews.
Yeah.
He's going to be, at some point, criticized. Like, he's going to have to be in front of a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not really giving him the reps, I would imagine, unless they're doing it, like, behind the scenes and very much coaching him up, which, like you said, they have the money to do.
Right.
But it's just a very bizarre experience.
It is, yeah.
Arch was speaking to the media yesterday, which is very rare with Arch, just not a press guy. Just you don't see him in front of the media doing a lot of stuff like this. But yesterday, spring football started down in New Orleans for the Newman Greenies, and Arch was speaking yesterday for the first time. He's the number one recruit in the 2023 class. He started, as we said, his final spring practice at Isidore Newman. And on 3, the national recruiting analyst, Sam Spiegelman, our guy, we need to link back up with Sammy Spiegs, was down there and talking to Arch about his recruiting. In fact, we're going to text Sammy Spiegs right now. He'd be a good get this morning to talk about this. And he was talking about college towns in which he had visited. Arch made the he made the rounds this offseason, right, this summer. He went to Clemson, went to Texas, went to LSU, went to Ole Miss, and went to Athens and visited the University of Georgia. He was asked what was his favorite college town, and he responded, Athens is probably the best college town that I've ever been to. I love Coach Kirby, and he's a real normal guy, a great coach. Georgia, the takeaway from practice there is that they have athletes all over the field, especially on the defensive line. They have some studs, and it shows. They had 15 players drafted, is what Arch told Sammy Spiegs over at On 3 yesterday about his experience this offseason. And a lot of people have seen or considered Georgia to be at one time like a dark horse in this, but slowly kind of start to make its move here as a real contender on Arch. It feels like the top 3 are Texas, Alabama, Georgia.
Well, for sure after this article.
Well, and it's easier for him to go to Georgia now that they've got the national championship. If they
Yes.
continue to get to the mountaintop and not be able to get on top of it, then Arch Manning comes in, freshman, has to start. Now you come win us a national championship that we haven't won since the 80s. Like, he would have to have been that guy and have the target on his back,
Right.
which seems like, again, another point of contention for him where they're trying to take this process very slowly. Like, he's obviously going to start, but I don't think they want to put that pressure on him immediately, being the Manning family. But now that Georgia's won and they continue to get these 5-star guys, it's very easy to slide up to Georgia, go to Athens, see Athens, stay in Athens, and have a good time and
Fall in love in Athens.
Fall in love, which you have to be
Absolutely.
careful. And then go be the quarterback and go be number one pick.
Yeah, he doesn't share your affinity for T-Town.
You don't know that yet.
He's been.
I know he
He's
has.
named Athens.
No, I know he has. But watch where he ends up.
Yes.
You think it'll be Bama?
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Really?
If
I thought
Nick-
we were on the Texas train for a while.
I still believe that Texas is the leader in the clubhouse, and I hate betting against Saban here. Like, I
Yeah.
feel very
These are the battles he wins.
uneasy
Yeah.
betting against Saban here because it's exactly right. These are the ones that he wins, and he's probably already has it won. Like, that's the thing about him and the way that he operates is like, yeah, man, go tell the recruiting people how much you love Athens. Go let the people in Texas think that you're coming to Austin.
What a game.
Just sign this letter of intent, right? He's probably already got the LOI, like, pocketed up in the back. You know what I mean? Like, anybody know where Arch is going? Saban's, like, sitting in his office like, nah, man.
That's that next to a tissue.
No chance.
Anytime he gets sad.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there was a lot of chatter down in the New Orleans area that Saban recruited him in the way of, like, hey, you're my last big-time quarterback. Like, come to Alabama. I will build you a absolute NFL team around you, and we'll go on a 3-year run. I'll hang it up, and you'll be the number one pick. That's the type of stuff that he is selling to Arch.
Well, especially after Nick Saban's been able to put together a run of good quarterbacks. Like, that was the knock on him, but now he's been able to recruit at a very high level, and you see what Mac Jones has done in the NFL. Then you see Caleb Young, who wins the Heisman in his, like, first year being able to play. Looks like he'll be the number one pick next year, and then you slide in Arch Manning, and it's like, look at it's a quarterback factory all of a sudden.
Put it on the poll. Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge. Poll question of the first hour. Where's Arch going? Texas, Alabama, Georgia, or other?
Other.
Let's see what you think. I think it's out of those three. I know that there are some people that believe that Ole Miss has an outside chance of landing Arch Manning. I'm not sure if I don't know, because like we said, I mean, I'd imagine that NIL will mean something, but I don't think that it's going to be the deciding factor. So, to say that Ole Miss may not be able to keep up with the NIL stuff that Texas, Alabama, and probably Georgia are offering Arch, or maybe they can, would make them a, kind of an outside looking in type prospect. I don't know if Ole Miss feels like they're in it as much as the other three do.
He's not going to Ole Miss. Why would he do that?
I mean, the
what?
speed limit on the campus is 18 because of his grandfather's
know,
number.
But
You know what I
still,
mean? Like,
he-
I mean, could you
But
imagine
it's not a good football
being
school
a
when he can go
Manning
anywhere.
in Ole Miss? Yeah, but I think that's probably what they're selling him. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
I'm sure they're
Arch,
selling.
just like they did to Eli.
Yeah,
Come change the trajectory of Ole Miss football.
but it didn't.
During that time period, it did.
I mean, for a minute,
Yeah.
but then it didn't.
From an athlete standpoint, he's thinking I can only make the change while I'm there. It's not my fault how whatever you do after I
Yeah.
leave, you do it. But I mean,
Right.
they still talk about the Eli years in Oxford. Like,
I
it was
know.
like
They
Alabama
still talk
football.
about Archie years in Oxford.
I think they put a 2003 SEC championship banner up when he tripped and fell over his own feet. I think that they have a 2003 Western Division
They do.
title in their stadium. I mean, it's like, yo,
dumb.
wake up.
It doesn't count for anything.
I mean, you got beat by the national champs and the Western Division champs in your own stadium when Eli tripped over his feet.
They were in the red zone too, Coach.
Oh, it was scary.
It was scary.
That was a hell of a game.
It was.
A hell of a football game. Michael Clayton got his head taken off in the first quarter there by the linebacker. I believe the guy's name was Jonathan Wade. White guy, looked like he was all juiced up.
Oh, yeah.
He came down. They threw a wide receiver screen to Clayton. He actually scored. You could probably pull it up. It was the first touchdown. Matt Malk threw an interception on a pick six on the opening drive of the game. Like one of those turnaround, fake handoffs, roll out, just dump it to the tight end. And the linebacker jumped it and brought it in. I mean, that was – and you were like, oh, shit.
No, I'll have to watch the game.
Yeah, right, like,
didn't mean to spot him
This
7.
thing is on. And LSU responded, and they hit Clayton on a wide receiver screen, and Clayton got ear hold, and his ear literally starts bleeding out of his helmet, like right here.
That
I think
freaks me out.
I think it got like his earlobe got pinched when he got hit, and it starts bleeding. And I mean, in the days when concussion was, kind of slap him on the head, tell him to get back into the game, my man was seeing triple.
Stirs.
Like it was as hard as Clayton has ever gotten hit. And like that's from him. Like he has told me, like he got his bell rung on that play. And that was kind of the temperature of the game. That was the personality of that game, was that it was a slugfest, man. I mean, it was an absolute backstreet brawl between those two teams. Devery Henderson scored the touchdown in the opening play of the fourth quarter. Maul hit him on that corner route, and that was the play of the game. That was it.
17-14.
That was it. They
What
won the
year?
game. 03, national championship game. National championship season for LSU. That was probably, I don't want to speak, let me think. They got beat by Florida. That was probably their best win of that season. 2003, who was their non-conference game in 2003? I'm trying to think. It wasn't Virginia Tech. They played Virginia Tech the year before, and it got rain, and they moved the 03 game to 07. That's when they came in 07 and got their bell rung.
Georgia?
No, the non-conference game.
Oh.
Arizona. They played in Arizona on a Saturday night, a late Saturday. They beat the hell out of Arizona. And it was like on
it's at
TBS.
Arizona. Yes.
It was like TBS or TNT the game was on.
13. And then didn't Arizona have to come back, too, and play at LSU? Remember when Landry just destroyed that poor quarterback?
Killed that guy.
Killed him.
Was it Tua? I mean, not Tua. It was a Tua Apasoa or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
he killed him.
Delayed safety
It was like a missile.
Wait, what year was that?
That
When they
was
came
03.
here? No.
What you talking about? Oh, when Arizona
Yeah,
came here? That was the
Arizona
next
came
year.
here.
Yeah,
Okay.
04.
Oh, it was the very next year?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people in the chat think Arch is overrated.
I've heard it. I mean, that's the story on that's
a
that's.
lot.
I think that's an easy storyline. Arch is one of those players I think that we love to hate,
Yeah.
or that people love to kind of pile on. I don't know if he's the number one player in the country.
Right.
I think his name is.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
name
his name
definitely
is.
is. His name definitely
talent
is.
is.
Jeffrey Bone says he's SLU or Nicholls State type
No
talent.
way.
Okay, yeah, that's
No
that's a
way.
stretch.
No way.
But I'm comfortable with LSU pushing for Dante Moore
Yeah.
and not Arch Manning.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And there are a lot of people that are saying now that Eli Holstein
Oh yeah,
is like blowing up.
he put
in
up
the
some
summer
numbers at
circuit.
some camp, and
Yes.
it was like the highest rated quarterback ever.
And like by all accounts, I mean, he is having a tremendous. What else, Stewie? How you feeling, bro? Big smile on the face.
Car?
You got a car?
Car?
No, still no car.
Fucking Walmart.
Walmart.
What time are we? Where are we? Delhi?
8:02.
Okay.
Oh, he did get ear hold.
Dude, he got crushed.
He kind of hit him late.
He got crushed.
Oh, everybody's
Look,
yeah, right,
look,
yeah.
he's
he
like,
doesn't want any
he
part of that.
doesn't want anything to do with it. Arizona game was in 06, not in 04.
Oh, okay.
06.
06. All right, do we have Delhi?
I'll have to check and see. Nope, not in the chat yet.
All right, we're going to take a break and come back with Ross Dellenger. Remember, Daily, we are brought to you by Edward Jones. Our friends over at Edward Jones, get in touch with our guy, Daniel Newman. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. If you work within the plant industry, he can help you out as he's got your questions ready to be answered about the finances in that industrial industry. He's got so much experience there. Look him up online or email him, Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com is where you get in touch with him. Ross Dellenger talking NIL when we come back.
Devery Henderson could absolutely go. Wow.
The 2003 Georgia game, after Georgia gets the screen route, they kick off to Devery. He almost
Yes.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the Capital Region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southernyecenters.com. That is southernyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out. southernyecenters.com and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online, moralesrolloffs.com.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. We'll get to your questions and your mailbag questions coming up here before we get out of here at 9 a.m. So if you have a mailbag question, jump inside the chat. Any way that you can get in touch with us, drop your mailbag question, and we will be we'll answer it here coming up at some point before we get out of here at 9 a.m. Ross Dellenger, who is the really the top writer in college football right now. If you're looking for college football news, odds are you are reading his work. Saw him on the Pat McAfee show last week. My guy is everywhere. He's also become the messenger on NIL stuff. And we were telling our audience, Ross, and Ross is on the move this morning, so no video. We're just straight audio with Dellenger this morning, who joins us from Sports Illustrated. But, Ross, last 6 articles that you have written over at SI.com are something dealing with NIL. Did you figure your offseason would be would be captured by NIL like it is now?
Well, there's no off season anymore, man.
Yeah.
It's always something. We have more issues going on in college sports right now than we ever have, and it's constant, and it's not probably stopping anytime soon. I think we're probably in a situation where we're going to have years of this, years of change and evolution of the industry, where you got to cover these issues. And it's something kind of I've gravitated to a little bit. I do miss writing about touchdowns and field goals a little bit, but
Sure.
But it's certainly the business of sports, and it's a very important issue. And the stuff going on right now with NIL is obviously been at the center of things the last couple of weeks, and I think you'll find over the next few weeks it'll probably remain that way as we kind of monitor what the NCAA is going to do as far as enforcing some of these new guidelines.
Ross, your latest piece is centered around that. In fact, it is headlined, "The NCAA approval of NIL guidelines signals a crackdown on boosters could be coming." It's an excellent read. Get over to SI.com and read that now. And Ross, I think that everybody in the sport would probably be unanimous in agreeing that NIL needs some type of governance. It needs some type of regulators. It needs some type of rules put into place. I would ask, is the NCAA the best to do that?
Well, it's a good question. It's one that a lot of people are asking if the NCAA is the entity that should be really managing or enforcing all this. Many people would say no, that there needs to be another body that is created that oversees or enforces not just the NIL stuff, but college football, college sports in general. And while I was out in Scottsdale last week for some conference meetings, that was a big topic of discussion, is kind of the future of the NCAA, and if there needs to be another governing body specifically for football, just because it's so different. It's gotten so big. It's the money has gotten so large that do you need some kind of alternate governing body, and that's something moving forward, especially over this summer with the NCAA Transformation Committee working to kind of transform the governance of the sport. It's something to keep an eye on. I think that we're heading toward probably some kind of a creation of maybe a new body, a new entity of some sort to govern at least football.
I know that Greg Sankey and the Pac-12 commissioner were up in Washington last week urging legislation around NIL. Greg Sankey spoke yesterday about the possibility of conference expansion, playoff expansion, and where the SEC stood very comfortable at 4 teams. How much input, and what do you see his role at what could be next with college football as a governing body or a commissioner, a strong voice? Where does Sankey feel it? He feels like he's the most powerful player in college sports right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people view him as kind of the leader of at least college football, especially now that Mark Emmert announced his retirement, and it does feel like when George Kliavkoff and Greg Sankey go to Washington, D.C. and team up together, I think there is some significance there. They each represent a very different cultural, political, geographic footprint out west and in the southeast. And the fact that they've teamed up in kind of doing something that Mark Emmert used to do, which is go lobby every few months he'd come up to here to DC and he'd lobby for federal NIL legislation. The fact that it kind of feels like they're kind of taking over for him in a way. And and Greg Sankey's been up here before in the past, but this one felt like it was a little different. I don't know that the result is going to be any different. I don't think we're going to see any kind of federal legislation passed this year before the midterm elections, but maybe something comes next year. And I think it was kind of in a way symbolic, Greg coming up here as maybe kind of the new face and voice of college football with him stepping down.
Ross, Jordan Addison, standout wide receiver for Pittsburgh, won the Biletnikoff last year for Pat Narduzzi and the Panthers. Put his name into the transfer portal on May 3rd, which was right before the deadline to make him eligible to transfer. But it looks as if he has been recruited almost as a free agent, with claims out there that there are deals upwards of $3 million that could be offered to Addison. What do you see this example having an impact on where we're going next with college sports? How much do you think this case will be referenced into the future as the changes are looking to be made?
Well, this is kind of the unregulated free agency you hear about that college football specifically is in right now, and it's sort of a similar to pro free agency, but with no regulations on the kind of waiver system, waiver wire system, and then no contracts with the players. So you do feel like it is this kind of chaotic free agency, and I think they're bringing some regulations to it. You'll see they'll have the transfer portal will be closed and open at some point. They're gonna add in closed periods in the transfer portal where it would open after the football regular season for a few weeks, and then it would close, and then it would open again April 15th and close again May 1. So you'll have a little bit of some regulation there, but you'll still have a situation where players, don't have any kind of binding contract and just can leave. And any restriction on players, as we've seen, that'll lead to lawsuits and lawsuits that'll cite back to the Alston case, the Supreme Court case last year, which basically said you can't limit or restrict athletes. And that's kind of the situation that college sports is in right now. It's in a place where it's just kind of tiptoeing around and fearful of litigation and fearful of losing litigation. And I think that's a big reason why, big reason for the situation around NIL right now is, to put some kind of regulation or restriction on NIL, which they're trying to do with the prohibition of boosters and such, is walking a tightrope, because any limitation to athletes could lead to lawsuits.
Delly, you mentioned in one of your latest write-ups about the future of collectives and that the NCAA, if they can govern this, that collectives seem to be their target. We have seen that this is kind of the model, as you kind of described in one of your latest pieces, of college campuses around the country really building these very quickly, tens of millions of dollars being raised in college towns all over the country. What are the futures of collectives in your opinion, and will they be standing, let's say, 2 years from now?
Well, yeah, I wonder what the long-term future is, and I think they themselves are wondering what the long-term future is. It's interesting. I had an attorney tell me that he's spoken with a few collectives who are kind of raising money and as fast as they can because they told him they're not sure how long they'll last. Wow, yeah. So even they are afraid that there is going to be some kind of regulation or something that kind of ends them, so to speak, or or restricts them in some way. And right now there's not a whole lot of restrictions. There's not a whole lot of enforcement going on. And all it will take really is one kind of program or one collective to be made an example of. And I feel like they're kind of waiting in a lot of ways for that moment. And they know it. I think they know that at some point the shoe could drop, so to speak, and they'd be in, and it would kind of change the whole collective landscape. But for right now, you see them popping up all over the place and raising a bunch of money. The top 10 to 15 to 20 schools have collectives that are at least have raised, $5+ million or plan to raise $5+ million, as I wrote last week, in what is kind of like a NIL player salary pool.
Wow. It's crazy. Ross, from a football standpoint, what team intrigues you this offseason? Have you done enough research to even know what teams look? I mean, Lloyd and I were talking the other day on air. You're going to look up on college football's opening day, and you're going to be like, holy cow, this guy plays for such and such team now? I mean, all of the transfers and all of the new faces, all of the coaches, all of the moving around. I mean, you're on top of this NIL stuff, and you've covered it as good as anybody. Have you had a chance to dive in to see some of the storylines of the offseason?
No, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I was on a podcast yesterday, and the person was like, okay, we're going to have you back on, Ross, later this summer to actually discuss football. And I'm like, oh, crap. I don't know anything about what's going on with football in the field. I mean, I haven't read a ton. I don't know where all these quarterbacks are. I need a quarterback cheat sheet to figure out where all these quarterbacks move to. But yeah, it's just this, these issues have kind of encompassed my whole offseason and really the last few years. And it has taken away from stories of on the field, and it's taken away from just your knowledge and how much you keep up with stuff that are actually going on the field, on teams, rosters, and such. So yeah, I'm going to have to, I think Phil Steele's magazine comes out in the next few weeks. I've got to get that and read up on it.
Deli, last one. You wrote an article that came out on May 2nd titled Big Money Donors Have Stepped Out of the Shadows to Create Chaotic NIL Markets. You referenced Keyshawn Butte and had quotes from Gordon McKernan down here in Baton Rouge, but you had quotes from players and from, I guess would be considered boosters or supporters of the program from all over the country. How wild is it out there?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I was building stuff for that story for 6 months or so, and kind of waiting for a good time to release it. When everything kind of came, it felt like everything kind of came the last 2 or 3 weeks to a climax with the guidelines, and I kind of heard rumblings of the guidelines coming out and enforcement. So I figured it was time to publish that story to kind of show everybody exactly what's going on. And I think the most stunning thing to come out of all that reporting and research and such was that this isn't NIL. It's not what it was intended for. It's evolved rapidly from something that is commercials and endorsement for a local business or something, or big social media star athlete tweeting out stuff and getting paid for it, to crowdfunding by kind of fan websites and cutting checks to athletes, and then it's evolved even further to like you mentioned there, the headline, the big money boosters just kind of bankrolling teams. It's wild. And a lot of people would say, hey, this should have been happening. They should get a cut of the revenue that's coming into college football. But this is somewhat unregulated, like we talked about, and I think there's probably a better way for them to get a cut instead of boosters and such going kind of using NIL to skirt the rules and basically pay salaries. There's probably a better way here, and college football will get there. I think it just will take a little time.
What's your next assignment?
Well, I'm still working on some NIL stuff, trying to figure out if enforcement is actually going to do anything, because you can have all the rules and guidance you want. If it's not enforced, then do you really have a rule? As an AD said, do you have a rule if it's not enforced? So trying to figure out if they're going to enforce things, as we talked about when I joined the show, is the split in college football, and that was a big topic of discussion out in Scottsdale. It really was as loud and as serious as I've ever heard it. So there's some issues. There's some issues there too, and I think I'm trying to kind of explore those things too.
Delly, you thought you were signing up for a cool job when you graduated Mississippi State. You had great access, dude. You got great seats to the best games.
Love
you got relationships with all the cool
basketball.
coaches. You get great gear. Next thing you know, bro, you're writing about politics and NIL and rules, and you're up. And the move to Washington, D.C. was, it was kind of a silver lining, almost something you couldn't see for you, putting you in the center of Washington for everything that's been going on.
It's right, yeah. I'm up here. This is makes 3 years, and I moved up here just a few months before Mark Emmert came up here for the first time to lobby Congress for federal NIL legislation. I remember going up to Capitol Hill and kind of following him around through meetings and speaking engagements. And yeah, it's actually been fairly convenient being up here.
Good to talk to you, bro. We'll talk again soon. Thank you, man.
All right, guys. See you.
Ross Dellenger from Sports Illustrated checking in. If you need anything around college football, and right now college football is being dominated by name, image, and likeness, whether it is trying to regulate and govern NIL or trying to just write the rules and regulations to it, Ross Dellenger has been a great messenger and a great author of all of what's coming out of NIL and college football and what the future is going to look like. So make sure you're following him on Twitter and keep up with him as he is a regular here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Men's Total Health down in New Orleans. Welcome aboard as you've been hearing us talk about our new sponsor down there, located on Vets down in New Orleans, 3829 Veterans Memorial Highway down there in New Orleans. Go stop in and see them. Their goal at Men's Total Health is to provide men with the best total and possible comprehensive health care available today. Men's health lacks the same focus as women and do not have the equivalent specialist that women have. By creating the specialty, Men's Total Health works diligently to decrease the higher male mortality rate by improving hormonal levels. What we are saying is that if you are suffering from lack of energy, if you are tired, if you're not being able to keep your muscle mass on, if you have lost some of your sex drive, you need to get over to Men's Total Health, and they can help you out with that. Mike Roach is tremendous on that. I'll be down there at noon today. Been going down for weekly visits.
And it's not just about there?
It's not just about the hormonal levels. They can look, man. They have found cancer. They can run a physical for you.
You have cancer?
They do
I
blood
thought
work.
you meant on you at first.
No, they can though. I mean, if you
That's where you're
with
going.
the blood work that they're running on you down there. I mean, it's a very comprehensive medical facility. Men's Total Health on Vets.
They gonna
down
get
there.
you on some vitamins and stuff like that? What are they gonna do to you?
I think they're gonna put me on a little
If
test.
he gets some testosterone, this place is going to be hell on wheels.
The laugh. That was evil.
Mailbag next.
God damn it.
It's like he knows what's coming.
I feel great.
It's like the dentist visit. He
You're the
comes
only
back with a
person that
perfect
thinks so.
smile. What's he coming back from?
He's going to get new teeth. He's going to have muscles and be all. I don't even know what kind of attitude he's going to have. Little Jay, watch
Thank you,
out.
Men's Total Health.
Hopefully Relief Med, the combination.
Yes.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more.
Jesus Christ, that right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? I gotta go up to his office. I gotta put his mail in the guy's goddamn hands.
But they've been asking for their mail on a daily basis. It's all they're talking about up there.
Because the mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you gotta get it out. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. And then the barcode reader breaks, and it publishes clearinghouse.
All right.
I can't believe I'm gonna be a mailman.
Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show, powered and driven by Go Chevrolet. Make sure and give us a like, share, comment if you don't mind. We've got you want to make the announcement?
What announcement?
TV?
What?
I mean, we started sending the content over yesterday.
I guess we could.
Yeah.
We're going to be on
yeah, go ahead.
WAFB soon, y'all.
Yes.
On their digital app. On their app.
We have entered into an agreement and signed a deal with WAFB, a local television station here in Baton Rouge, and we are very excited to be partnered up with Rob, Joe, all the good people over at WAFB, man. I don't even know if they wanted us to
Do they know? I know, I'm kind of panicked. Like, are they listening right now?
I think we're
they've watched the
shut
show.
up.
Yeah, but they kind of get the vibe of the show.
If they watch the show, this is very expected.
Rob
They're
gets
probably
the vibe
shocked
of the show.
we
I
didn't come back
guarantee you,
already.
my guy Rob Hayes gets the show.
That's
Surprisingly coolest dude in the room.
So cool.
I mean, the president
when he
of
started
WAFB,
sketching on his notepad, I was
and
like,
the picture that he sketched was even cooler.
It was.
But we are excited, man. Our brand is growing over here at FM Digital Media. We are now on television, or at least partnered with a television group. We will be on their digital products. We will have what they call a swim lane on their WAFB.com and on their app, where you're able to access the Jordy Culotta Show. So we're giving them content. They're giving us access, right? They're into nearly 100,000 homes in South Louisiana. They get nearly 100,000 clicks a day on their website when news and weather and breaking stuff happens. Obviously, they see a big rush to their website. And we now have partners who have so much experience. And really, as we said, I think when we were kind of being coy about what we were doing, we were kind of trying to play as if we had some big news coming, but we couldn't tell you yet. But the WFB is so they're very forward thinking in the digital space.
Yes.
I mean, you've run into a lot of traditional media, and Katie and I have kind of sat in with some traditional media executives and television stations and radio stations, and over the last year, and a lot of people feel like they get digital, but they haven't yet started to place resources into digital, right? WFB could take their 6 and 10 o'clock news, and they could do it all from their digital studio.
And we went up in there acting like we were schooling them on how to do digital media.
Yeah,
Let
right.
us tell y'all
Yeah,
where
right.
the
Like we
world
walked
is
in,
going.
yeah, like we walked in like we were the digital media experts.
They're like, well, let us show you our
Yeah,
digital
right.
media studio. We're like, oh.
By the end of it, we were like, you got a pen so I can jot down what we need to take back to the studio?
Yeah, we were doing it from a garage.
Right.
But
Right.
it was incredible. They have a just digital sales team. They've got a digital sales director. What I'm saying is that they are very understanding that their business and their model is transitioning into this space, and partnering with them for our company is what we believe can take us to the next level, just as far as exposure goes, right? I mean, like the ability and the potential to be in front of new eyeballs, new clientele, new customer base, for us is very appealing. Also, now we are selling to our clients and to the people that are involved with us, that they're on television now, that they're getting access to the WAFB.com website and to the app that is very popular. So if you have not downloaded the WAFB app, please do that on your phone, on your smart device immediately, and you should start seeing some of the Jordy Culotta Show content starting to get populated on that site. They got to go through some stuff. I talked to one of the representatives yesterday over at WFB, and they're just going through some stuff on the back end of some post-production and some sponsorship stuff as far as getting our stuff on and moving on their website and on their digital properties. And things like, when Mikey had Damone Clark in last Monday. Last Monday was an enormous day for FM digital media, and this is not me beating our chest. This is not me name dropping. This is just what we believe is the advantage that we have in the market. Last Monday, right? So go back with me last Monday. Garrett Nussmeier came in here the Saturday after the spring football game. Greg Brooks, who's one of the top transfers, came and sat down with us here in studio. Mikey Matuk had his show at 11 o'clock, had a video interview, which is fantastic, with Jay Johnson. And then Kay Doty and Joe Bear, Braden Joe Bear, came and sat in studio with Mikey. And when they wrapped up that, and this is the day after Doty hit the game-winning home run against Georgia. And then Damone Clark, who was the draft pick by the Dallas Cowboys and maybe the story of the year for LSU football, came and sat in for 25, 30 minutes with Mikey. That's what we believe we offer that's a little bit different than what people can do. Not only the access to the content and to the players and the interviews, but that they can sit down for 30 and 45 minutes and answer all the questions. I mean, the Tyrann Mathieu interview ran 50 minutes. In traditional media, you can't run that interview. You got to take a break. You got to pay. You got to
hard outs to hit.
You got to go to the top of the hour breaks. You got scheduled commercials that you must hit for everybody to get paid, right? I mean, in this setting, you can still give love to your sponsors and keep the programming and the content rolling and have access to what you all want to hear. I mean, we have seen that the formula is these sit-down, long-form interviews that you're talking about the things that we talk about around the lunch table and the dinner table. LSU football, LSU sports, South Louisiana sports, Pelicans, Saints.
Asthma.
Bringing that to your living room, right?
Did she say asthma?
Asthma.
So hopefully this goes as well as we believe it will. We believe that this is it could be a launch pad for us to go into another stratosphere.
And people are freaking out, but we are not leaving YouTube. You will still be able to view us like you normally do on YouTube. This is just
We're
extra.
not leaving YouTube. We are now on YouTube and on the WAFB app and WAFB.com.
Yes.
And like I was saying, like last Monday, let's say it's a slow news day for Jacques and Steve Schneider, Jacques Doucet and Steve Schneider, the sports guys on WAFB's sports desk. They run a little snippet of that Damone Clark interview on the 6 and 10 o'clock news and say, hey, over at FM Digital Media today, a part of Mic'd Up, Damone Clark came in and talked about what it was like to be drafted in the second round by the Dallas Cowboys. Drafted was it fourth round? Third round? Yeah. Fifth? My bad. Should have been a second rounder. But, you play that on the 6 to 10 o'clock news, drive everybody back here. Huge win for us. Huge win for them. They get the content.
And in turn, it pumps up the YouTube. So if more people can find YouTube, this will still be our the majority of what you will find our content on will still be on YouTube. That's where you'll find all the content. There's just another arm for us to use as a way for more people to find us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we might have a few little segments like weather or something.
Yeah, and there's talks of their morning show, kind of doing some live hits in here with us, kind of setting up the day with them. We're fired up about it, man. We love WAFB. They're great. South Louisiana and Louisiana's television station. And as we said, if you have not downloaded the app and you have not gotten the app on your phone, make sure you do that. Not only to keep up with the breaking news and weather stories that are coming out of WAFB, but now you can access the Jordy Culotta Show.
They're
so we're fired up
panicked
about
that we can't cuss anymore.
To hell we can.
We can still do
Nothing
whatever
has
we
changed.
want. They'll
Nothing
edit
has
it the
changed.
way they need to edit it. Everybody
Trust me, I went
relax.
over all of these things before.
The show will not close. Yes, Lloyd wanted to hate this. Lloyd wanted to dump all over this.
Very concerned.
He came in here very, very fired up with new news, and Lloyd tried to dump on it, but even Lloyd is on board here.
Yes. Show goes on.
Yes, we will be fine. We will be exactly the same. Everybody calm down.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. If Lloyd's not okay, we'll bury him 6 feet under the concrete. Cajun Ready Mix is online at CajunRMC.com. Doesn't matter the size of the project, industrial, municipal, governmental, residential, whatever you need. If you need to bury a body, give me a call. I should have an example for you by 4 o'clock.
Ryan Heck's going to call you in a second and be like, dude, that is not the ad read we paid for.
Heck might have signed up for that one. Bradley Cairo and Steven Cheatham might call and say, bro, that's not what we signed up for. Heck will probably be like, my boy, got 1,000 extra for you on the body.
That's true.
Cajun Ready Mix, CajunRMC.com, online, CajunRMC.com. Mailbag segment. How are we looking over there, Noah? All right.
Let's see. Phillips Clinton asked Jordy, does Emory Jones win a starting offensive line spot like Campbell this year?
To me, when we talked about these offensive line signings in the offseason, both Emory Jones and Will Campbell's name, they jump out. And I will tell you this, after seeing Will Campbell go through spring practice, to me it will be nearly impossible to keep him off the field. And I'm talking about game 1, play 1 versus Florida State. I saw Emory Jones play in the state championship game for Catholic High School versus Jesuit in front of a packed house in Tulane Stadium. And look, Jesuit is not B.J. Ojolari and Ali Gay, which Will Campbell was blocking in the spring, but Emory Jones was destroying kids in this high school state championship game. And look, Jesuit's got a good program. They got good players. It's not the SEC. It's not Gay. It's not Ojolari. It's not those cats that Campbell was going up against in the spring. But Emory Jones is a guy that you look at and you say, man, it is going to be tough to keep him off the field because a lot like Campbell, he's already physically ready to go, and he's mean. He's a killer out there on the offensive line. And I think you can never have enough of that mentality up front. Like, I think that's why Campbell really kind of makes him almost impossible to keep off the field. Size, strength, skill level, all there. Still some things he's got to work on from a physical standpoint. To be expected, right? I mean, the kid's 18 years old. He should be going to the prom at Neville this weekend. And he's already gone through 15 practices in a spring game for LSU. Almost really kind of solidified his spot. But I think that the real reason why he's just so impossible to ignore is because he's just got that mentality. Like, he'll make a mistake, but he'll flush it, forget about it, next play. He'll come back and road grade you into the ground. And I think Emory Jones has a lot. There will be growing pains with freshmen on an SEC offensive line. I don't think that there's anybody skilled enough like a Derek Stingley Jr. from an offensive line standpoint that can just step in and play a near flawless, perfect first year in college football. I mean, Campbell and Jones would be the examples. Those guys dominated the highest level of Louisiana high school football. Both of them. I mean, they blocked everybody in this state. Quincy Wiggins and Will Campbell's one-on-one at LSU's football camp is, I mean, it's football porn to recruiting sites. You know what I mean? That's the level that those two guys are on. I mean, it's must-watch television. It's must-watch for everybody in the arena to stop what you're doing and watch these two cats play. So they have the skill. Campbell and even Jones, in my opinion, kind of the same stratosphere. Big, physical, mean, ready to play. Still got ground to cover. Still going to have some growing pains. Still going to go up against a defensive end on a Saturday in the SEC that may maul them a lot like we gave the example what Lyle Collins did to Myles Garrett his, what was Collins' senior year and what was Myles Garrett freshman year. I mean, that was the last game of Myles Garrett's freshman season. That was the regular season finale for Myles Garrett. He had gone through 12 games up to that point, 11 games up to that point. Gotten experience. Lyle Collins picked him up by the shoulder pads and flung him into the sideline and stood over him and had the welcome to college football moment. I still think Campbell and Jones and Quincy Wiggins and all these guys that are going to make an impact, Landon Ibieta, all these guys that are going to play as a freshman will still have that learning curve. Stingley's kind of the outlier, that just never had that welcome to the SEC, welcome to college football moment. He dominated every Saturday that he was out there, it felt like, as a true freshman. But yes, I believe that Emory Jones makes his way onto the line. I think he's too good to keep off the field. I think his mentality really gives him a leg up on, where LSU is coming from. And he's ready to play, And think about next year and 2 years from now, how good these two are going to be for what they'll go through this year. Not that they're going to be a liability. Not that they're going to get the quarterback killed. But they're going to get beat. And they're going to have some mistakes. And they're going to have some penalties that cost you in a drive. And they're going to do some things that they look back on and say, man, I know better than that. But all of that will really kind of play into the equity that you're buying into down the line on Jones and Campbell. I mean, they're talking about Campbell up there like he's going to be an all-timer. Like he's got that type of capability where, you name an award after him in 20 years. So we'll see. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put on an incoming freshman, but I do believe that both of those guys will play immediately. I think that Will Campbell starts game one, play one versus Florida State. And I don't think that it's outside the realm of possibility to think of Emory Jones possibly being on that starting line or by Series 3 being in some type of rotation and by Game 3 of his freshman year being a starter. What you got next?
From Phillips Clinton again, he said, who will be the highest NFL draft pick out of Mason Smith, J. Roy, BJ?
Oof. Mason Smith. You think BJ is too positionally
here's the
more
deal.
of a need?
BJ Ojulari has a chance this season to make himself a top 5 pick. I don't think that Mason Smith, I don't think that Jaquelin Roy is worthy of the top 10 love just yet. Just yet. He's got a really good opportunity to go in there and stamp himself. I think you look at the physical attributes of Roy and they just kind of fall in love, right? I mean, size, strength, a lot like Glenn Dorsey's athleticism. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Kind of relatable to Dorsey in the sense of just a superior athlete as a big man. I mean, can move laterally, can got some speed, he's just got everything. Roy has everything, man. He really does. He's got the tool set that you're looking for from a defensive line. And I see that's what scouts see. That's what general managers, decision makers see. Like, damn, kid's got it all, man. You know, I mean, get him on my campus, get him on my organization, and we'll make him an all-pro. That's how football coaches think, right? I mean, they're all the most arrogant people in the room of, we'll make him a Super Bowl, we'll make him a superstar. And I think BJ has been asked to do a task the first 2 years that he's been in college, and he's dominated it. He's shown that he can get to the passer, and in the NFL, that is a premium.
Right.
You know what I mean? You pay for that. You saw the number 1 pick in the draft, Trayvon Walker from Georgia. He didn't do anything in college that would warrant him being a first-round pick. He showed a little bit of sign that he could get to the quarterback, and they made him a first-round pick on potential alone. I think that people could be looking at Ojulari as a similar type player. Like, this cat can get to the quarterback. You know it. You already know that. But if he can play the position that they're asking him to play this year, where they're going to put him in space, he's going to be dropping back a little bit. He'll be more in on run downs and opportunities to be a 3-down defensive end. If he masters that, BJ could be a top 3 pick. I mean, really. I mean, because you already know he's got the pass rushing capability.
Right, so it's more based off of what position they play in NFL looks for than Mason Smith.
Mason Smith's probably the freakiest out
That's
of all
what I'm
of
saying.
them.
Like, he's probably the most talented in terms of, like, size and skill and, like, what he can do. It's unbelievable. But just because of the position it seems like he plays, you don't normally see people take that in the top 5.
I agree.
Where it feels like BJ Ojulari can go.
My pick would be BJ Ojulari. Next, what we got?
Cordell Music asked Jordy, who do you predict to have the number 7 and number 18 jerseys?
It's a good one, man. I mean, this year in particular, with so many new faces and so many new
Who was talking
coaches.
about number 7? Somebody
Kayshawn
was already
wants it.
7. Yeah.
Kayshawn wants 7, and from a
Seventh.
just a standpoint of kind of what 7 is, Kayshawn is kind of that feels like that player. As far as 18 goes, you know, I mean, I think that when you look at this team in particular, golly, man.
Would John Emery be too wild card of a pick for what he's been through, though? Because it's always a little bit of adversity. You see him step up and be a leader.
Mike Jones?
He's not.
I figured that 18 could be Jure and Ali Gay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say Ali Gay next.
Jure
Jenkins probably feels like a great fit.
Yeah.
Jure Jenkins feels like a guy that kind of does everything. You never hear his name because he's not doing stuff he's not supposed to, but you look up and he's catching first downs and making plays.
Been here forever.
He has.
Another 18 quality.
I would give 7 to Butte, and I would give 18 to Jure Jenkins. 2 wide receivers.
Okay.
All right.
DK said he's letting the team make the decision.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, whether or not they even keep it, right? Which I like.
I think they should. It's tradition.
And I'm a bigger fan of 7 than 18.
Yeah. New Orleans versus all y'all. What are the greatest traditions in college football?
What are they?
Yeah. Like I guess it's
That's
just
a very broad question.
It is. I guess, Penn State whiteout, Virginia Tech, Howard's Rock, the Inner Sandman's electric.
I've always thought
Call it Baton Rouge.
I've always thought that outside of the best pregame I've ever seen outside of LSU is Auburn.
Really?
When the eagle flies around the stadium and he kind of, like whatever section, it's kind of like where LSU's band points the horns. Everybody stands up, like whatever section they point at. The eagle will kind of fly in the section, whatever section he's over. That section goes crazy, and then it like circles. Have you ever seen this?
No, I've never been to Auburn.
You've never been to Auburn. Has anybody ever been to Auburn?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Dude.
It's weird.
It's sure. I mean, people come to Baton Rouge and they're like, this place is weird.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everywhere's weird. It's cool weird. I mean, it's just different.
Yeah. I mean, Ole Miss is the weirdest.
Yeah. It's like a high school
it's just
football
the strangest
stadium
place.
for one.
It's just like
yeah.
it's like a bubble.
Yes.
You know what I mean, it's like these
and don't
people
you
have
to
mad people
no
in high
sense
school.
of reality.
I know.
I mean, all these checkerboard shirts and all these pleated khakis. I mean, like.
And they're in the mud. Aren't they like in the mud?
Yeah.
Like the Grove gets rained out and they're dressed up all night. I've never been to the Grove either. I've only been to Georgia and Alabama.
Floppy hair and croquis.
Oh, a lot of bangs.
Yeah, I mean, just wallabies, flip flops,
flip-flops,
thong flops,
thong flops.
Not even the sliders.
That's not our vibe.
short shorts,
a lot of Costas,
button-down short sleeves, a lot of Costa Del Mars.
Yeah.
A lot of dad's businesses stickers on the back of the truck.
A lot of cocaine.
A lot of cocaine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got dad's money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
bunch of rebel flags and rednecks.
Yeah.
But I think that the best pregame is Auburn that I've seen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Didn't the whole...
You know who's got a great pregame? Tennessee. Tennessee's SEC experience.
I've not been there.
Dude,
I really want to.
They tailgate on Neyland River. They tailgate in boats.
That's so cool.
And then like the place is massive.
Yeah, it was the largest capacity
for
stadium for a while.
For a while. It's all bleachers though. That's the deal.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like sitting in Olympia.
That is weird.
Michigan touching the flag. Whatever that is, the banner.
Whatever.
Iowa does the little hospital wave.
Oh yeah, of course Noah would know that.
You know,
That's the good one.
Very it's heartfelt.
Yeah. Very on brand, Noah. Good job.
I'm trying to think of other
Didn't
traditions.
the Auburn
cowbells?
Nah.
The worst.
That's the worst. Yeah, wrong tier. Didn't the Auburn bird attack somebody last year?
I don't know that. That would be awesome if it did though.
It had to have attacked somebody at some point. There's no way that's
I think
not
he got.
gonna
I think he
happen.
got away.
No.
What do you
So
mean who
anyway,
got away? The bird
so-
or the person?
Like they kind of lost control of him.
So the bird like gets in front of a section and he kind of gets you going, and then he circles the stadium. Like this person is at like the 50-yard line, kind of like holding their arm out with a whistle, and they hit this whistle, and this eagle starts like circling the stadium, and as they're doing it, they're kind of like whoa, and then like as it lands, and when it lands, they all eagle.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
It is.
I went to the
76.
2013 LSU Georgia game in Athens where Mettenberger, Hill, Landry, and
I was
Beckham got
there
beat at the
too.
end. That was a beautiful environment.
It was.
I mean, it was a great environment for a college football game. There was nothing as far as like tradition went that stood out, but it was just an electric game.
Went to Vanderbilt and talk about no tradition at all. No, they didn't even have a tailgate. Like they had nothing to do. It was.
Oh, Nashville's a great town.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but
I mean,
you know we went.
got
to
options.
You have to go to the stadium at some point, and we went there. We were just like,
Do we?
y'all don't have to. Y'all got nothing going here. Everybody was still
They're still studying.
probably or out. I would
Yeah,
hope because
out.
they're loaded.
Yeah. Don't worry about no football, man.
No, I had to go see Jamar.
Any other mailbags?
Terrell Fife, mailbag. What's the latest on Adam Miller? I'm really feeling positive about it, and I don't know why.
Tomorrow. Friday.
Friday.
Friday. Announcement coming on Friday for Adam Miller. I feel positive, too. I really do. Even though I saw him put out on social media that he got robbed.
I did. I saw that too.
I hope that wasn't in Baton Rouge.
I think it was. It had to be because he said.
Well, I mean, they took all his stuff.
Like his house got
Shoes,
robbed?
car keys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Fucking
We were
bad.
Had to
wondering
be
if
Baton
it was.
Rouge.
I wonder if it was an inside job.
Yeah, but
Well, that would
people just
suck.
be walking down
TCU?
Hamilton all the time.
It could have been that reporter.
Yeah.
He came and robbed him.
Yeah, sullied my name. Take your
Just stole
stuff.
his keys and shoes.
Yeah.
That'll show him.
Did you
He has
allegedly?
to come to
Did you
TCU
allegedly
now.
take?
Yeah.
Did you allegedly take Adam Miller's stuff? I'm gonna report it.
He has to come. Then he wouldn't be wrong. He's like, he did come to TCU. He just whipped my ass.
Any more questions?
Let's see. Greg Petey Peterson.
Petey.
Do you ever foresee having Will Wade on the show again? Maybe when the NCAA hearing approaches.
Yeah, after the after that, whenever that's going to be, he's not going to talk until then. He's not going to talk before then. Obviously, we have asked that question and talked to him about that, and he just doesn't see that it's wise to do, and he's being counseled by his lawyer on that. There's
Always
nothing
listen to your
positive
lawyers.
that could come out from his point of view of making a statement now, and I agree with it. But yeah, I mean, I think that as soon as he's ready to speak publicly, he'll definitely be back.
And I think he would like to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he definitely would. Anything else, Noah?
Hunter Fournette, who's the starter Saturday? Because I doubt it's Money.
Oh, Money pitched yesterday.
Yeah, last night.
Wow, they
Yeah,
did.
they threw him in the. Yeah, it's got. Well, he had to get some innings because the last two
Yeah,
times he's
that's
gone
what I saw.
out.
I guess so.
He's only thrown in an inning. He didn't even record an out his first start.
The guy they brought in last Saturday
last
after
Saturday.
the 2/3 that Money pitched. I'm sorry, I forget his name.
They all look the same.
They do.
Hasty?
Hasty.
Hasty.
Hasty. He got the win on
They
Saturday.
all look the
They,
same.
well, they all have like goggles
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
short hair and baby
Yeah. I
face.
agree.
I can't tell who
I
they
agree.
are.
know.
I agree.
We'll ask Bianco here at
That's
11
why you
o'clock.
come here. That's why you come here for breaking baseball news.
11 to 1 is where you'll get your baseball news on Mike Duff.
Leave me alone in the baseball stuff, really. I just read the box score and the names, for God's sakes.
Dylan Cruz is good.
Jacob Berry's a stud. He's out? Really? I didn't know that. Who else? What else?
Hayden JP47 is the UDL or New DL, a content house for the FM Empire.
It is. Correct.
Sure is.
This is our this
Palace
is our
de
hub. This is our
Resistance.
hub. This is
Yes.
where it's coming from, man. All right, I got to get to this. Are we done there? Are we done on the
Yep.
I gotta get to this.
Double
I gotta
show.
get to this plane story.
Oh, yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
I gotta be somewhere real quick,
Yeah, what's up with
and then be
that?
right back here.
Wait, did you not read
Did you
this?
not read this?
No, I
Did you
mean,
not read this?
I
Okay.
read it when I got here
All right.
today, but I didn't know about it
So,
before.
what would it take for everybody to stop flying, and would this be it? I mentioned that this is the only time that I've ever been on a single plane, was in that 2013 trip to Athens.
Oh, nice.
What do you mean on a
plane
single
trip.
plane?
I flew
Like
with
a
Dr.
Cessna.
I flew with
Okay.
Dr. Bankston. So
Okay.
it was like a personal plane, but it was like there was 4 of us,
Yeah.
and it was tight squeeze,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
you're
this doesn't
flying.
look right. You know what I mean? This doesn't feel right. And still to this day, a lot. I always think about my girl Carly McCord, and I think about her getting on an airplane like this, and the text message that she sent a mutual friend of ours, and Anna Betts, who is now the morning DJ on Eagle 98.1, of her saying this just doesn't feel right. And then, of course, 30 minutes later, tragedy in her world, and is so much missed, and will always be remembered, will be Carly. But yesterday, a similar plane and an instance that happened in the sky over in South Florida has got to be one of the scariest scenarios I think anybody can be presented with. Or at least for my money, this would be one of the scariest situations I think you could ever just plop me into and say, figure it out, right? So to give you an idea, yesterday, a passenger on board a Cessna Caravan, which seats 4, right, was forced to land the plane at Palm Beach International Airport Tuesday afternoon after the pilot suffered a medical emergency. The guy got on the air and said, "I got a serious situation here." The passenger can be heard telling air traffic control in Fort Pierce, Florida, "My pilot has gone incoherent and I have no idea how to fly an airplane." Air traffic control responds, "Roger, what's your position?" The new pilot responds, "I have no idea. I can see the coast of Florida in front of me. I got no idea where I'm at." Air traffic control tells him, "Maintain wing level and just try to fly the coast either north or southbound, and we'll try to locate you." Guy 4 minutes later says, "Have you located me yet? I can't even find my nav screen to turn on. It all has the information on it. You guys got any idea on how to handle that?"
Even waiting 4 minutes is like
4 minutes.
It's very
Longest
patient.
4 minutes of your life.
4 minutes. Plane starts to dive over the Atlantic.
I'd be passed out by this point.
The way they get it back, this is the guy that I want to get on. Obviously, the pilot is the hero, but the real hero is inside air traffic control. They got a plane director, a guy that teaches classes for flying, a flight instructor. A flight instructor is inside of air traffic control, finds out the name, make, and model of the airplane, prints out what looks like the inside of that plane, and walks my guy with 0 minutes of flying experience onto the ground. Not only do they land the plane, which they have interviewed like pilots after this, and pilots are just like mind blown.
It is unbelievable.
That this guy was able to put this thing on the ground. He was also able to stabilize the plane because during that 4-minute stretch, the plane started to dive into the Atlantic. Wings down, nose down. The guy is like just going for I guess they're just going for a joyride on a Tuesday, right? I mean, you're just flying back into Palm Beach International Airport. And if you have not seen this story, we got the link inside the document. Place the link inside of the chat because they have audio from inside of the cabin to air traffic control. And for whatever reason, this guy who's stuck up in the air with no flight experience in control of an airplane sounds like he's playing golf at Augusta. I mean, like, the guy sounds like he's like sipping tea on the back of his porch. On the side, he's like, "Hey, guys, I've got no idea how to fly a plane, and I've got no idea where I'm at. Can you guys help me out?" I mean, it's like, bro, are I mean, like, I
Good for him
don't
for
even
staying
know
calm.
if I would have even attempted to try and fly the
You
plane.
would have. You had no choice.
I think I would have punched the guy in the face until he woke up.
That's what Jordy and I were talking about
You have
off
no
air. We were
choice.
like, given the opportunity to either fly the plane or I could probably wake this motherfucker up. Like, I would try to just wake the pilot up. Like, I would waste my 4 minutes
I guess.
getting this guy awake.
This
We got to
is why
get some
you
smelling
don't go
salts.
without a co-pilot.
I have heard about passengers landing planes. All of those passengers that I have heard from have at least sat in a cockpit or have had some sense of airplane training. They might not be pilots on American Airlines, but they have sat in the cockpit and flown the plane before. This guy is a virgin. This guy has never even touched the steering wheel of an airplane. I don't even know if it's called a steering wheel. But, I mean, he's never flown a plane. He's over the Atlantic, and it's nosediving, and you still got to land it. And he does it.
Amazing.
And the landing, there's video of it, because I guess they tipped off the news teams that, like, hey, we could have tragedy, and you could have some content coming out of the airport here in the next 30 minutes. We might have a Cessna blow up on the tarmac. So, I mean, like, there is cameras stabled and ready to go, like, film this. And this guy is coming in, bro. And, I mean, like, the wings are kind of steady, and he kind of drops it down just kind of lays it down on the tarmac. I mean, just lays it down on the runway,
If you didn't know he wasn't, like, if you just were
You would've never
there,
known.
you would have never known it was somebody that had never flown a plane in their life who's getting instructions
Kudos
one by
to that
one.
guy.
Like,
oh, dude.
The air traffic control guy.
How do I?
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
How do I turn on the screen? Like, okay, we got to go through a lot of steps here.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm
Where's the
lost.
power button?
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I don't know how to
Like,
turn this on or
I'm
off.
30,000 feet up.
You're right.
You have to have a co-pilot. I don't understand people that fly without one. That freaks me out.
What do you think happened to the pilot?
I kicked his ass either way.
Well,
you know
even
what I mean?
after.
Like, even if I couldn't punch you to get up in the air,
Oh, you're
I'm
still
kicking
fighting
your
him?
ass on the tarmac.
Well, what happened when it landed?
I have
Did the
no
pilot
idea.
wake up?
I don't
Like,
know.
That's what I'm wondering. I
Everyone
wonder.
knows?
He's like, oh.
yeah.
That's
like,
what kind
is
of
he okay?
that did get lost in the story. They never gave the outcome of the pilot.
weird.
Yeah.
They just more gave the outcome of the
Might have
plane, the
boozed
flight.
up.
Would you ever fly again? Would you go John Madden, Tony Kornheiser? Would you just buy a bus? Would
I
you
don't
just
think I
travel
would
by
fly
bus?
on those.
I would
Really?
never fly on that. Still to this day, after Carly and after my Georgia experience, I ain't getting on a single
never
engine.
would, really?
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's just life's too short.
Nobody?
Forget it.
What if they were like the good ones? Like
I
the-
guarantee you that Cessna Caravan, they probably sold it as a good one.
No, I'm talking about like the private jet, like the.
I'll fly a private jet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll fly a Lear. You know what I mean? Like, I will fly in a jet, in a twin-engine, double-engine plane. The single-engine Cessnas over the Atlantic, I'm out, bro. Forget it.
But
I
I
got
doubt
kids.
they were- I
I got a
mean-
kid. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, somebody's counting on me to feed them and parent them. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd
my
take a
dad died in a
joyride.
Cessna over the Atlantic, as the co-pilot. You know, like, fuck him. You know, like,
What were you doing?
Yeah, like, what was he doing? You
Take
know,
me back on the
He
train.
had no idea. You know, I mean, oof.
That's wild. What a hero.
What a hero. Air traffic controller, though. Name the
talk
tower after him.
You talk about dealing from the have to. Like, I have to do this.
Yeah,
like,
you
it
have no
is
choice.
Game 7 World Series. You're up to bat. Like, I've never played baseball.
Is that the scariest instance you could be presented in? I mean, I guess if you drop me, like, in the woods in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you drop me, like,
With
in
no-
some type of, like, naked and afraid, I would be dead in a minute.
Without a doubt. But I
Yeah,
know I'm
mean,
dying then.
Yeah, me too. Like,
my dad flew a lot when I was little, and we were in a 2-seater plane one day, and he couldn't land. There were some kind of conditions which we didn't allow him to land where we were going, and he was running out of fuel.
Oh,
The
God.
air traffic people called my mom at home to tell her what was happening because he couldn't land, and I was like sitting on my foot because I had to go to the bathroom and just color, and the color really had no idea what was going on the whole
Ugh.
time. And he said he was sweating like
White-knuckled.
bullets, like did not know like what
mean-
the outcome was going to be, just circling around trying to let somebody tell him what airport to go to land. And he was like, I'm running out of fuel. Like, he said it was the worst day of his life, and I had no clue the whole time
old
it
were
was
you?
happening. I was probably 5 then.
Yeah, you don't tell a 5-year-old.
right.
What age would you have to
No.
be like, look, boys, we're in trouble? 12?
Yeah, I mean, you know
12.
then.
I think
Yeah.
that they can probably see it on your face.
Yes, I didn't think
Well,
my
not if they
dad
never go
could
up
do
there. If
anything
they're
wrong.
if he's
Yeah.
just flying, it's
I
like,
mean,
oh.
like they interviewed pilots on the ground after this was done yesterday. Like they interviewed like some JetBlue pilot who had over like 10,000 hours of flying, And he was like, I can remember the first 20 hours of my flight school, like when I was flying by myself, landing that type of plane. Like I was like sweating bullets and white knuckled.
And I knew what I was doing.
Like this, and he was like, the fact that this guy did this was 0 flight time.
Yeah.
And was able to land it. Like they showed him the video of it. And he was like, damn.
He's got a
like,
skill.
That was pretty good, man.
Do you think this guy becomes a pilot?
No.
No
That would
shot.
scare me out of flying.
No
I want no part of that, man. Or maybe he found his calling
Maybe he
yesterday.
did,
Maybe he
yeah.
found his calling.
He was if you listen to the interview or like him talking to air traffic control, he is so calm. It's unbelievable.
It really is
It's like, I just don't
amazing.
really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
He's
well,
like,
where
"What do
are you? He's
look-"
like, I'm not sure.
They're like,
Right.
where are you? And he's like, I don't really know. Like,
What?
okay.
Staying calm, though, is the way to go.
I guess that is.
I mean,
that would
freaking
be
out
the-
isn't going to help anybody.
No.
We're definitely nosediving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if we're freaking out, we're dead.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Always opt for calm.
Yeah, you have to. It's scary. Little planes are scary. My
They
dad
are.
still flies, and I wouldn't get in there with him if you put a gun to my head.
Yeah.
I mean, without a co-pilot. There's no way. I told him, I was like, you're going to have a heart attack flying. I mean, Sophie's
Right.
never been in a plane
A
with him.
crazy
She
little
never
black
will.
hole that you can fall down, or at least I have fallen into
Ooh,
on
the black
YouTube,
box.
is not the black box, is like the video of like these types of planes, like people landing them in like times of panic.
Why do you want to watch
I don't
that kind
know.
of thing,
I
Jordy?
don't know. I don't
Jeez.
know. I'm asking myself as I'm
While
going
you're
to the
watching
next
it,
video.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
As I go to the
nervous
next
from this
video, I'm like,
conversation.
I'm not Xing out of it, but why am I
Not
doing
watching
this?
Yeah.
Theo Epstein does even worse. He listens to the video, like the phone calls of people that aren't going to make it off a
The
plane.
black box?
Why?
Yes.
Why would you
I don't
do
know,
that?
but that's like
morbid.
his. Yeah. That's like his little secret that he's like, he'll stay up late on YouTube. He's like, I have no idea how I fell into this rabbit hole, but it's they're
Ew.
not successful. It's like people saying goodbye to their loved ones for the last time. And he's like, I don't really like that I do this, but I keep doing it.
Right.
And
You
like,
just keep
Theo,
going
you're
back.
sick.
I know.
What a weirdo.
I know. Some of the planes.
I wouldn't even want to be high listening to that.
No.
I'd be like, that would make me feel worse.
Yes.
I just want good stuff to happen.
Well, yeah, we all do.
No, like when I'm baked, I don't want it's like, oh.
Louis Caro describes it best though, man. Live or die. That's the only two choices they
Yeah.
had.
Fight or
yesterday.
flight.
What you gonna do, man?
Land.
You gonna freak out and die? Or
Yeah.
you gonna stay calm and live?
Yeah. I think
You
your
know?
brain, like,
Yeah, probably.
won't
It
let you
does.
freak
This
out
is
all
not the time
way.
to freak out.
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
There's no one
Somebody
else
has
here.
to save the day. Somebody has to be calm in a crisis.
It would not be me.
I know.
Yeah.
I would be calm.
I
I,
don't know.
think.
You would be.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of the
you would
weird
be.
situations where I've
Still playing the violin
weirdly
as the
got calm.
Titanic sinking.
Yeah. Video call crisis. Stay
right.
calm.
You gonna get on one of these boats or not?
No, it's dark out here. This big thing can't go down.
I'd go Madden and buy a Colada cruiser. I'd
Let's
get a
do
bus.
that anyway.
I'd get a bus. Travel the
That would
country.
be
Every
awesome. We need a tour bus.
SEC stadium.
That'd be awesome.
Y'all,
That'd be awesome.
we
Go
need a
live.
tour bus. Somebody donate us a tour bus.
Yeah.
For God's sakes. Is that
Jesus.
too much to ask?
Too much. We couldn't get
Or
a
a-
golf
or
cart.
a-
Let's
We just got a
move to
TV
tour
deal.
bus.
Yeah.
Right? We definitely need a tour bus with
Or
our
get us a
pictures on
little
the side of
plane.
it, like a morning show.
Have a great day out
Seen one
there.
of those.
Make sure 11 o'clock. Who's mic'd up? Anybody booked?
Yeah, we got Bianco and Langston
That's
Galloway.
right. That's right. Langston Galloway and Drew Bianco will
Yep.
be here at 11 o'clock, 11 till 1. Remember, subscribe to the Mic'd Up podcast and to the
Going to
Mic'd Up
play his
show.
dad.
Huh?
Going to play his dad.
Usually plays well.
And he's been catching.
Yeah, he usually plays well against his old man. We will talk to tomorrow morning. We don't have anybody booked. But,
see.
we
Trying to
will,
get this pilot.
We will by the time you get here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Like, share. Yeah, I want to get the guy in air traffic control.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing.
That's the guy we want.
You know he
They
did
have
so
not handed
many-
out his name yet. I wonder if he wants to stay anonymous. I
Wow.
like him even more.
That would be even more air traffic control. It's like, that's not my job.
Right?
I'm just behind the
I just did what I was
scenes.
supposed to do.
Yeah.
Just put me down as an air traffic
I
control.
wonder if he even told like his wife when he went home, and then she sees it on the news. Like,
Gotta
was that
tell
you?
somebody, huh?
He
Yeah.
probably does it a lot though.
Not
you know,
that.
More than we know though.
No, not
helping
like
people
that.
land planes.
Not
Not
like
like
that.
that, but
Not
you
like
know.
that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
this is
he's
his
been.
job.
I mean,
in
you're
moments
taking
of
like a
panic.
novice. I mean, you're
Right.
taking a kid. You're taking a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Putting him up in the air and saying, "You're gonna have to land this thing."
Follow these directions, and maybe it'll work. And then you still have to have some sort of skill.
Wow. Have a great day. Like, share, comment. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.